Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Olivia and I make videos about anthropology every single Monday. And today is the list of all lists. We are going to be talking about 12 different ways to do anthropology and build your resume. So without further ado, let's just get into it. Now, some of these ideas are more obvious, but I'm betting that some of the ideas on this list you've never heard of before. And the first one is becoming a research assistant. Now, when you hear the word research, do not be scared. When I was in high school and an undergraduate student, I did not want to touch research with a 10-foot pole. But I'm telling you that research looks a lot of different ways. We're talking about anthropology today, so research can look like studying culture, language, archaeology, biology, whatever it is about anthropology that interests you. Now, a few quick tips on how to actually do this. Attend your professor's office hours, ask them some questions, build a relationship with them, and then once they already know who you are, ask to get involved in their lab. Or if you're not in their class, read a paper that this professor wrote. Say, hey, I really liked your paper on this. How can I get involved? And fun fact, if you're not in college, there was a high school student who did this. They read my professor's paper and was like, hey, can I join your lab? And he was like, sure. So yeah, becoming a research assistant, it's an oldie but a goodie. Now on to the next one. Now, the second suggestion that I have for building your anthropology resume is either working or volunteering in a museum. Now, I know there's not anthropology museums everywhere you go, but a lot of anthropology students enter the museum or education space. So if you can find a museum that's what I'm calling anthropology adjacent, so a history museum, a culture museum, even a biology museum, all of these things are connected to anthropology, even if the forefront of the museum itself isn't anthropology. I had the opportunity to work in an anthropology museum. I'll link the video on the screen wherever that goes if you want to check it out. But it's a wonderful way to build your resume and learn if the museum space is actually something you'd want to pursue. Now, the next idea that I have on this list is a really fun and creative one, and that is creating a personal website, but tying it to the field of anthropology. Now, I started a YouTube channel and it's taken a long time for me to get to where we are today, and it's a lot of work. So I'm not necessarily saying start a YouTube channel about anthropology, although if you want to, please do it and we can be friends. But if you want to start a personal website where you talk about you and your interests within the field of anthropology, I highly recommend it because it's a wonderful thing to link to when applying to other anthropology opportunities down the line. You can link your favorite papers, you can do a little blog section where you respond to different things in anthropology, and once again, link that personal website on different applications for things down the line. Number 4 on this list, go to field school. Guys, it's anthropology, you've heard of this, just go do it. And you can go to field school for all the branches of anthropology. It doesn't have to be archaeology. I think a lot of people hear field school and they assume you have to go somewhere and dig something up. If archaeology is your jam, great. But if you're interested in, again, these other fields of anthropology, there are definitely field schools available to do that. I recommend just doing your research and looking into scholarship opportunities if that's something that's going to help you out. A lot of field schools are now reopening post, the heat of the pandemic. So there are safe ways to travel the world and do anthropology. And again, a great way to build your resume. Number 5, I've never talked about on my channel before somehow, but that is attending events. Did you know that universities, among other organizations, actually put on anthropology events that you can attend? I went to UCLA and I just did a quick search recently. Went on to the UCLA Anthropology department page. There's a little button that says events. I clicked on it and on there is a list of events that you can tune into with a Zoom link. And I imagine that UCLA is not the only university that does this. There's other organizations that do it as well. So if there's talks or events in your university's department, look into it because you can go and say that you attended that talk and maybe even write about it on your blog, who knows? All right, number 6 is kind of like number 5, but a more extreme version of it. And instead of attending an anthropology event, I recommend attending an anthropology conference. Yes, conferences, academic conferences. These are huge. It's a giant thing in academia where basically the newest research professors, students, PhD people, all the guys, all the people go and present the newest, shiniest work in the field of anthropology. Now, these conferences are often several days long, and again, you get to hear about the newest research in the field of anthropology, and it's a great thing to put on your resume that you can be like, hey, I attended that conference and listened to these talks, you know? Yeah, okay, well, you should go. Okay, number 7 is fun. This is to more specifically my archaeology people now, because there are a lot of you over here. And that is volunteering to do a dig with the U.S. Forest Service. Now, you don't have to live in the US to do this, by the way. People fly in from all over the world to participate in digs with the US Forest Service. Now, again, this is not funded. It's a volunteering opportunity. But there's so much archaeology that is still underground. So I'm gonna link those resources down below, because again, this video is a rapid fire, get through everything as quick as we can, because there's literally 12 ideas on here. But if you are interested in archaeology and just trying to see if that's something that you'd like, I do recommend looking into the opportunities that the US Forest Service has to offer. Really quickly, if you have not liked or subscribed, definitely do that, because I talk about anthropology every single Monday, and most of these videos are your guys' ideas, and we have really fun conversations down there in the comment section. So definitely do that, but now on to the next idea. Okay, number 8 is wonderful, and that is work or volunteer with a nonprofit organization. Just like it's very common for anthropology students to pursue education, right? Museum space, etc. It's also very common for anthropology students to pursue a different path than that path being nonprofits. The company that I work for right now, they actually run a nonprofit, so I'm very closely connected with that. And as an undergraduate student, something that I was really interested in was pursuing nonprofits. So what you can do is, once again, look for nonprofits who work in things that are considered anthropology adjacent, right? So for me, I find education in anthropology really interesting, and I literally find myself working with an educational nonprofit. I'll link them down below, they're amazing. But once again, this is a great way to build your resume, and even more importantly, learn if working with a nonprofit is something that you would actually want to do. Okay, number 9 is great if you can find it, and that is joining a research program. Now, how is a research program different from becoming a research assistant? That's what I said first in this video. Now, when you're a research assistant, you're assisting on someone else's research, but when you join a research program, you get to do your own research, and it's a great time. I have been fortunate enough to participate in one of these. So if you can find an anthropology research program, whether that's through your university or somewhere else, I would highly recommend it, because once again, you get a lot more control over what you study. With that said, these are very difficult to find, and when you do find them, getting into them can be incredibly challenging. So once again, stay open-minded and look for opportunities in fields related to anthropology, so then maybe you can bring in your own anthropological perspective. For example, if you're interested in history, maybe do a history program and then bring in some anthropological analysis into that program if you can't actually find an anthropology program. Gosh, I feel like I just said anthropology a million times. Number 10, we are getting there. We are so close to the end. Gosh, guys, this is literally so many ideas. I've never done this before in my life. And number 10 is submitting your work to a research journal. So let's say you have had the opportunity to be a research assistant and maybe get your name on a paper, or you were in a research program and you got to write up something about your research. I highly recommend then doing something with this research that you did, right? If you write something up at the end of this course or program or whatever, submit it to an academic journal. I know it's really easy to assume that only professors can do this or only PhD students can do this, but I know undergraduate students who have done this. It's definitely possible. And guys, we talked about how this video is building your resume. Fun fact, if you can get your name on a research paper, you look really good. And imagine then if this research paper was published in a journal. I mean, your resume, I don't know who's gonna say no to you. So yeah, keep that in mind. Now, number 11, so if you are a university student, I'm realizing right now that this is a lot of university student opportunities. So if you're younger or older, apologies, but maybe these ideas will inspire you. I'm not sure. So if you're in college, look into creating a personal research course. Now, at my university, I had the opportunity to create a one-on-one, and by one-on-one, I mean me and the professor, research course where I pursued something that I found interesting within anthropology. A lot of universities, they won't really tell you about it, but if you look into it, there are programs that allow you to create your own course and study what you find interesting. So I worked, again, one-on-one with a biological anthropology professor, and I did things for him and for myself that we both mutually agreed on, and then I got 4 units of credit for that. It was awesome. So if you can find a way to build your own research course, look into it. At my school, it was called, I believe, an SRP 199, but it might be something different at your university. So yeah, definitely look into that. And finally, number 12, I love this tip because I don't think anyone else online is saying this, and that is offer to help your TAs. What, Olivia, that's silly. No, it's not. This is like the gem of this video. So if you stuck around, good work. TAs, or if anyone doesn't know what that is, a teaching assistant. They're like the people who help out your professors. It's easy to forget that these TAs are usually PhD students. And when you're a PhD student, you have to do your own research. There's a lot of things within the research process that the PhD students, A, don't want to do, and B, don't have to do. So if you can build a relationship with a TA who's doing research on something that you're interested in, they might actually offer you an opportunity to help them out. They win and you win. Fun fact, when I was a sophomore, I went through this crisis where I didn't know if I wanted to pursue primatology. I literally was like, I have no idea what to do with my life. Do I study monkeys? And I had this TA and she studied primates. And so I just asked her if we could do a quick Zoom call to talk about primatology basically. And long story short, we talked for 2 hours about my career and future with monkeys, which, spoiler, I ultimately decided not to pursue that. But not the point. I learned so much from her, and at the end of this call, she was like, hey, like, I have some undergrads helping me out with my research. Would you be interested in helping me? And to say the least, this is not the first PhD student that I know of who has this situation going. There are many PhD students who have undergraduates help them with their work. So yeah, seek out your TAs, ask them if they need any help, get to know them because they are people, right? Remember, your professors and your TAs are not just a scheme to get you to the top. They are people too, treat them kindly. So also, yeah, if my laptop is turning on and off, sorry about that. But I do have a whole playlist about videos on careers in anthropology, so I'm gonna link that and like anthropology opportunities. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe to my channel because anthropology every Monday, who doesn't want that in their life? And I'll see you guys next week. All right, you guys, bye.